And he asked me, like, he said he was on the call with the rest of his team, and he asked me, is it important to get on team calls, like our team call that we do every Wednesday night? And is it important to get on the national call every Monday, which is at 11 a.m. Eastern? And our team calls every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm like a very visual learner. Like things don't make sense to me. Like when people like spew words at me, I have to imagine something or have it like written out. So I use like analogies when I try to describe things. So what I would say is, yes, it's very important. And the reason for that is Team Boom is like this crazy wildfire. And so when you come to the team calls, this fire is raging out of control in a good way. And every coach is kind of on their own, and every coach has like a log. And they come to the fire, they bring their log with them, they put their log in the fire and listen to the call, their log catches on fire, and then they leave the call and their log or their business is on fire the rest of the week. But what happens when you leave the call and you go out into the world is it gets really windy and it starts raining and people try to dump cold water on you, and your log, the flame starts to go out a little bit. So you have to come back to the fire every week to put your log back in the wildfire and reignite it and reignite your business and reignite your passion. Because life does get windy and it does start raining and people will try to dump cold water on you. So you got to get on these calls every week, and you got to get on the national call every week, and you got to bring your log with you. It's just the coaches that do that are constantly, they're always reigniting the flame. They're always on fire. They're always out there able to handle the wind and the rain, and the cold water that's getting dumped on them because they're constantly reigniting that flame. So it's super important that you're getting on those calls, both the national and the team call. And the other way to keep your log going is personal development every day. So in between, the calls, that personal development is going to help you weather the storm of life and people. So I hope that does that make sense about like why it's so important to get on the calls every week? Good. So the other thing I was going to talk about is I think that a lot of times coaches try to make the business more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, there's so many things you can do. Pinterest and April talked a lot about a lot of different things yesterday on the team call. And I think sometimes there's so many different things you can do to connect and find people that you don't know where to begin, and then you don't take that first step. So what I try to do for my coaches is give them tunnel vision. I try to get them to focus on one thing and one thing only. So they don't have to worry about, do I go in this direction or that direction? Should I try to chase that recognition or should I go for that? They have one thing, and it's tunnel vision. And I'll talk about what that one thing is, but all the other stuff's outside of the tunnel vision, so they don't get distracted by it. And that one thing is giving people an amazing experience in the 21-day challenge groups. How many of you guys run, like, focus on 21-day fix? It's kind of like your primary program that you run challenge groups with. Most of you, a lot of you. So, for me, the reason I focus on the 21-day fix is because there's two reasons. One, it's only 3 weeks. It's not very intimidating. It's not, it's not 30 days. It's not 60 days. It's not 90 days. It's 3 weeks. So more people are going to be able to commit to that. The other reason is most people, they struggle with nutrition more than anything else. 80% of results, I think at least, more probably like 90 come from nutrition. So with 21-day fix, it's all dialed in. You got the portion control containers. It tells you exactly what foods to eat, how much of it, and the ratios of the different food groups, the right portions. Boom. Like that's how people are going to get results, is by getting their nutrition dialed in. And I think that program does it better than any other. Not to say you can't do any other challenge groups, but that's the one I focused on the most because it's short and it gets people their nutrition's dialed in. So that's like my coach's tunnel vision. When someone comes to me and they say, hey, I think I want to be a coach, I say, well, great, you got to do one of my 21-day challenges first. Because that's such a big part of what we do as coaches. I can't really train you and explain what I do as a coach. The best way for me to train you to be successful is for me to give you a great experience in a challenge group. So the foundation of my business and the foundation of my coaches' businesses is giving people a great experience in the 21-day challenges. And I'll tell you why. The more you fall in love with giving people a great experience in the 21-day challenge groups, rather than just selling, when people start to realize, when you're having a conversation with someone who's thinking about buying a challenge pack, they start to realize that you aren't focused on selling them a challenge pack. When they buy the challenge pack, that's when your work starts. And they realize that, they know that you're invested in them and you're going to connect with them. And this is going to be different than anything they've ever paid for, any other diet they've tried, any other program they've tried, because this is the first time they have you. They're buying you. They're paying the 140 or the 160 bucks for you. That's what they got to know they're paying for. That accountability, that relationship. I call it hashtag 5 best friends or hashtag 5 lifers. I think I even like that one better. So that your goal isn't Success Club 10. Your goal is 5 people that you're going to sell a challenge pack to. Yes, that's one of the hurdles you got to get over, but that's not your end goal. That's when your work starts. If you really commit to that and fall in love with that, you're going to get more people that want to commit to your challenge groups with a challenge pack. So Success Club 10 is going to happen more often, more easily. And the better experience you give people in the group, the more likely they're going to want to give that experience to other people, because they're going to be so excited about the experience they have. They're going to want to share that with other people and give that experience to other people. Same as if they had gone to a great restaurant and loved it. They would want to share that with other people, or a great movie. If you give them a great experience, they're going to be more likely to want to share that with other people. And if they do decide to become a coach, they're going to make a great coach because they're going to be out there talking to people, excited about what they're sharing because they've had such a great experience. They're not out there selling anymore. So people are going to respond to them a lot better. It's going to be easier for them to find people that want to commit to their challenge groups. And when they do commit to their challenge groups, they're going to be a great coach because they're going to give their clients the same great experience that you gave them. So when I get a new coach come in, I go, listen, like, Success Club's great. I explain it to them. Emerald, the ranks, I kind of explain that to them. That stuff's great. The income's great. All that stuff, don't focus on it though. If you focus on giving people a great experience, hashtag 5 lifers every month, all that other stuff's going to happen. You're going to hit Success Club. You're going to rank advance. You're going to make more money. You're going to sign coaches, but don't worry about that stuff. Focus on giving people an amazing experience. And then I talk about the 2 things that go in that tunnel vision with the hashtag 5 lifers. 2 things: how to find people, and then how to invite them. So I talk to them about how to find people through Instagram is what I use. Some of you guys use Pinterest. The people that tell me I don't have time I want to be a coach. I love what you're doing, but I don't know anyone that would be interested, and I don't have time to go to the mall and the restaurant to find people. That's just an excuse. Like, there's so many people out there in Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook that would love to be a part of a 21-day challenge, but nobody's ever asked them yet, or they were really rude when they asked them. So there's so many people out there that you can still find. So I show them how to do that. I show them how to, you guys know the 531. Like, go to someone's, search for hashtags. I use Instagress. It brings people to me, but then I go to their page and I like 5 of their photos, maybe 5, maybe 3. And then I comment on one with a compliment and a question. I tell them what I like about that particular photo or their page. And then I ask them a question about that particular photo or that page. Don't do that with every single page you come across and every single photo you come across. Do not be desperate for your 5 lifers every month. You got to look for people that you're really going to connect with, people that you would want to hang out with. So be choosy, quality over quantity. If you're choosy, you're going to have a better chance of really connecting with those people. And when you plant seeds with them, they're going to stay in touch because you guys have some things in common. They're going to come back around and eventually want to do a challenge with you, hopefully. So I talk a lot about that, how to find people. And then I talk about how to move the conversation over to Facebook, and then how to invite them. And that's it. I mean, that's all I try to get my coaches to focus on. Just having that tunnel vision. I show them how to find people, how to invite. And I tell them, this is one thing that I think a lot of coaches, that the easy part for me is showing coaches what they need to do every day. Because what I do every day is not like overly complicated. I could teach it, to an 8th grader, and I think they'd be able to pick it up pretty quickly. It's simple stuff. The hard part is the mindset. So I think a lot of coaches come in and they think they're going to get people to buy challenge packs right away. And that's not how this business works. 99% of the people that become my 5 lifers each month that commit to a challenge pack with me are people that told me no, or I connected with over a year ago. When you connect with someone for the first time and you invite them and they say no, that's a good thing. You've planted a seed. No's are planting seeds. And once you've planted that seed, they are going to watch you. They will not like anything you post. They will not comment on anything you post, but they are watching. Trust me. And they will come back around if you are consistent with your journey. So you plant the seed, you get the no, and then you got to be consistent with your journey for a whole year. I talk about this escalator thing all the time. That's how this business works. If you guys have ever tried to run up an escalator that's going down before, anybody, any troublemakers on this call? I used to do it all the time. My mom would start screaming at me.
I'm scared to death of escalators, so no.
All right. Well, I'm going to use the example anyway.
That's fine. Just know I'm just scared to death of them.
I know. They are kind of scary. They got teeth,
Right?
Right. Seriously. They could swallow you, could eat you up. But this business is kind of like running up an escalator that's going down. And what I mean by that is you get on and you're all excited and you start running up this escalator full speed and you feel like you're running 100 miles an hour, but you're barely moving. No one's saying yes, or maybe a few, and you're kind of barely moving up this escalator. And it gets kind of exhausting and tiring at times trying to run up an escalator that's going down. You're going against the traffic and you're going uphill. And a lot of times what happens when you get discouraged and you're not going as fast as you want, what happens? You stop. And what happens when you're on an escalator that's going down and you stop running up? Brings you all the way back to the bottom. And all those seeds you planted when you got that no, and you were moving up that escalator and they were watching you being consistent with your journey, when you stop being consistent with your journey, you go to the bottom and that seed you planted dies. Because they've been watching. Like I said, they didn't like anything. They didn't comment, but they were watching. They were watching. Okay, let's see how consistent they are. Let's see what they do with this thing. And all of a sudden they go, oh, she got off the escalator. Didn't work for her. Why would I want to do that? And then you lost that seed you planted. So then you get back on that escalator and you plant that seed again, but you're going to have to wait another year now. And this is what I kept doing to myself. For 3 years, I would get on the escalator. I'd get really excited. I'd go to an event or something, and I'd plant a ton of seeds, and life would get in the way. And I wasn't running as fast as I wanted to because I was still on the escalator, and I would stop, and I'd go to the bottom. And then I'd get back on after being excited for whatever reason. I'd get back on the escalator, and I'd start running again. I'd plant more seeds, and I'd stop. And maybe I'd get a few coaches that would get on the escalator with me, and then they'd see me stop, and they would stop. They're like, oh, where are you going? You're going back down the escalator? All right, then why am I on this escalator? And they'd stop and they'd go back down too. And I did this for 3 years in a row. And finally, I got so pissed at myself because I kept seeing other coaches get on the escalator, plant seeds for a full year and stay consistent with their journey for a full year. And their businesses after that year exploded. They started after me, but they didn't get off that escalator. And I was still at the bottom watching. So I finally recommitted and I said, this time I'm getting on this thing, I'm planting seeds, and I'm going to stay on this thing for as long as it takes. I don't care how long it takes me to get to the top of this escalator because I'm eventually going to get there. I know it. I don't care who I got to talk to. I don't care who comes with me. And when I had that mindset, when you have that mindset of I'm getting on this escalator and I'm going to go get to the top. And what I mean by get to the top is when you get to the top, you're on flat ground and your business explodes. When you get to the top, all of a sudden, if you've been planting those seeds for a full year, all of a sudden you get people that want to join you on this coaching journey. And now you're running with a team of people and your business explodes. You guys follow me right now? So I finally decided, all right, I looked up the escalator and I was at the bottom and I said, all right, this time I'm not getting off. And I don't care who's coming with me. So I think when people could sense that this time it wasn't like, okay, Pat's kind of desperate for me to do this with him. He needs me to do this with him to be successful. That wasn't my mentality anymore. And I think people could tell that this time around, I was going to be successful. I was going to find people that wanted to do this with me. If they wanted to do it, great. But if they didn't, I was going to do this without them, and they were going to watch me be successful. And people saw that, and they didn't want to get left behind. So that time, it was different. More people wanted to come with me. You got to have that mentality of you're all in. It doesn't matter who joins you. You guys, you're doing this. You're going to inevitably find good people that want to do this because you're never getting off the escalator. You're never going to stop planting seeds. You're never going to stop being consistent with your own journey. This business, like someone asked me the other day, they said, Pat, cut the shit. I don't want your spiel. How do you make money in this business? And it could have been the same question. It could have been, Pat, cut your shit. Sorry, there's kids on this. But it could have been like, cut the bull. I don't want to hear your spiel. How do I impact the most amount of lives possible? Because that's the same exact question. The answer to that question, how do I make money and how do I impact the most amount of lives? The answer is the exact same thing. So I looked at him and I said, develop leaders. Develop 2 or 3 good leaders in this business that want to do this with you. If you do that, you're going to have a 6-figure income and you're going to impact a ton of lives, way more than you can on your own. But if you empower a leader or 2 or 3 or 5 leaders, now there's an army of coaches that are impacting a ton of lives. And the pay is, there's a direct correlation there. So when I got back on that escalator, I said, all right, I'm going to find 2, 3, 5 good leaders. And I'm not getting off this escalator until I do. And I know I'm going to. It's inevitable. If I'm planting seeds every day and I'm consistent with my journey and I'm doing personal development, I'm working out every day, I'm inviting, I'm planting seeds, it's inevitable that people are going to want to join my challenge groups. And if I'm giving people a great experience, it's inevitable that some of them are going to have such a good experience that they're going to want to give that to other people. I just knew it. I just knew it in my gut that if I just stayed consistent with this, I was inevitably going to find people that wanted to do this with me because it was such a cool opportunity to change a lot of lives, to create more freedom in your life. So I think people, when you have that mindset, people notice it and they want to be a part of something like that. So who's getting on the escalator and not getting off this time? You guys have any questions about any of that stuff? No?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it goes back to way before you were talking about the elevator. So I have a coach about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she signed up. She did the 21-day fix, and she loved it. So she signed up as a discount coach. And it seems like she wants to be motivated to actually coach, but she hasn't actually said to me that she wants to coach. How would you recommend me persuading her that coaching is like a great opportunity for her? Like, because she only thinks that discounting is like the best way for her. And I know that she would be an amazing coach because every time I send out a text message or a Facebook invite or something, she is involved. But how do I get her actually involved, if that makes sense?
So you have her in a group and you asked her to be a co-leader, and she's like, seems, you don't even have to ask her to be a co-leader, but that helps. But like, so she's really encouraging the other members, kind of like already doing what we do as a coach. She seems to really enjoy it. Right. Mm-hmm. Like what I tell people is, you're basically already doing what I do as a coach. Okay. And I think you'd be great at it. Have you ever considered it? Have you ever considered doing what I do is what I say.
Okay.
I think that all of that is important to say. I think saying, What's that?
She's already a coach.
Oh, she's already a coach.
Yeah, she's already a coach.
Oh, she's a discount coach. So
Discount coach. But she seems like she's interested, but she doesn't know how to come about it. Like, and I don't know how to tell her, like, this is how coaching goes. But I think that she really would be great at it because she's already branched out and bought other products, and she loves Shakeology. She loves the product. She's lost so much weight, and she has a great transformation so far. So how do I make that go longer? That makes sense.
So you could start her out with like the have you guys heard of the get 3 yours is free?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Get 3 years is free is like a great way to get a discount coach starting to be a coach for the business without them really feeling like they're doing it yet. It's kind of a good way to get them into it. So you just say like, did you know that if you get 3 people, like you know 3 people that you think would love Shakeology? Because if you do, you get yours for free. Because as a coach, you know, you get 25% commission from 3 Shakeologies. That's like $33 each. That's going to be like $99, and that's how much her Shakeology costs. So just ask her, like, say, do you know anyone that you think would love Shakeology? I just want to let you know that if you get 3, yours is free. If she gets 1, hers is, you know, cut down by $33. Which is
I like that saying. I've never heard it before.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Did you send her that video yet? Like what is Beachbody?
I honestly haven't sent her anything because at first she almost seemed like she only wanted it to be a discount. But every time I send her a group message that's like, hey, let's join this call, she'll actually answer back and say, I'm so sorry, I'm at work. Maybe I'll watch it later. So she seems like she's actually interested. But at first it seemed like she was a discount coach. So it's kind of like weird. Where do I put that at? You know what I mean?
You can just tell her, you know, you've had a great transformation. You know, you're already doing it. Would you like to share your story with other people, you know, and become a Beachbody coach, like run this as a business instead of just a discount coach? Just like come out and ask her.
Yeah, or you could add her to one of the sneak peeks.
Yeah.
Andrea does a really good coach sneak peek. I mean, all she has to do is be in the group for 5 days and watch. Doesn't
Yeah.
cost anything. That's pretty convincing.
Sneak peek. I don't think I've ever been involved in that.
Yeah, it's like where usually Andrea or Amy Riehlman put them on. A bunch of people in Team Boom do it, but I know those 2 do them a lot. And it's basically like a 5-day group, and they just kind of slowly introduce coaching over the 5 days with like some videos and some posts and whatnot. And they have a huge turnaround. Like they have a lot of people, like the majority of the people that do it end up being coaches. So it's for people who are like not quite sure yet, like they're kind of interested, but they don't really know what it is. And it's very like low pressure.
On this call, if I were to add my friend onto it, would you accept her?
You talking to me?
No, Amy.
Oh,
hey.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
So I don't know if you heard everything, but I have a friend who is a discount coach, and I think that she's more interested in being an actual coach than a discount coach, but she actually has not said anything to me.
Yeah. I usually run a coaching open house on the 3rd week of every month. I believe it is the 24th. And then I do a 5-day clean eating the 2nd week.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely. And then usually like, even if I have like 4 people, I'll do it myself. And I feel like the smaller, the better. And I get more engagement actually, just like with the 21-day fix challenges.
Okay.
But if I don't have 4, then I'll usually combine with someone. And then I usually just like, for people like you just said, but also I'll go through my whole contact list of people that I've talked to about coaching and were interested at that time. And I'll just message them and say, hey, I'm opening up this like 5-day coaching group just to learn a little bit more. If you're interested in popping in, like, would you like me to add you? And then, you know, I start tagging them in the posts and stuff. So, yeah.
And somebody is running one starting on Monday. I saw that posted in the coach group, but I can't remember who it was because I asked who was running one, and I'm in one now, but somebody's starting one on Monday.
And then I have like a file that I put in the Boom Fam that's called videos I send customers that I think would be great coaches. So if you go into the Boom Fam, there's a file that has a couple videos that I usually send to my like rock star hashtag 5lifers if I think they would make a great coach. And the first one is like me just explaining in 3 minutes like what is a Beachbody coach. And I get a lot of people that I feel like after they've been through a 21-day challenge, or maybe they're in one and they have like a really good idea of what a 21-day challenge is and they really love it. And basically all I tell them is like all the coaches is someone who like invites other people to do these 21-day challenges. And you love this 21-day challenge. You're excited about it. Like you're already telling your friends about it. So you're already doing what I do, you know? And then they're like, oh, wow, all right. Because a lot of times people, there's like this bridge between a customer and a coach. People like, you need to like kind of bridge that gap for them. And the way to do that is to let them know that they're basically kind of already doing what a coach does. And then they're like, huh, all right, well, I don't really know what a coach does, but he's telling me I already kind of do what a coach does. And I love what I'm doing. I love being a part of this group and encouraging other members. So maybe I would actually enjoy this coaching thing. And that kind of gets their curiosity going. And then you just send them that little 3-minute video that I made, or you can make your own, that kind of explains what a coach is. That's how I get all my coaches. Most of them, all my coaches come out of my 21-day challenges. They're people that love the experience they had and they want to give it to other people. And even if someone approaches me about being a coach, I make them do the 21-day challenge. Because that, to me, the best way for me to train my coaches is to give them a great experience in the 21-day challenge. It's going to make them more excited to invite other people to join their 21-day challenges, and they're going to run better 21-day challenges because they're going to give them, their clients, the same experience I gave them. So I think it's just the best way to train a coach. And then obviously I just show them how to find people through social media and actually do the inviting. But
I have a question.
yeah.
So Pat and Amy both and whoever else, are you still skipping the free group and going straight to challenge packs? Or are you going back more towards free groups? Which are you guys going? Because I haven't had, when I go straight to challenge pack, I feel like it doesn't spend enough time with a relationship, even if I try, and they're always no the first time. So I feel like the free group is more effective that way, but I just want your guys's, what are you guys doing?
I personally, I never talk about the free group unless I always talk to them about like what their goals are and whatever and tie in the 21-day fix. And then if they're not interested in that, I'll ask them like when is the best time for me to follow back up with them. So I always ask, if they say no, that's fine. Like, when would be the next best time for me to follow up with you for a challenge? Like, I run them consistently. And then usually, like, some of them will just say, like, take me off your list or whatever. But usually people say, like, oh, September when the kids go to school or October or whatever. So then I just always have a contact list on my computer. And I just put name and date to follow back up with them. And then I add them to an interest group. And so I'm consistently liking and commenting on their things. So I'm not just, the next time I follow up with them, it's not just about coaching. I'll message them here and there, totally not related to Beachbody. And then I do invite them, like if I'm running a 5-day free clean eating, or I'll say like, if in the meantime, if you want to be in my free group, I can add you. And sometimes they do. And I don't even make them make a free profile or anything, but that's just what I do.
I liked April's idea last night where she said that she does like the 5-day free groups. So she adds people to those. And then after 3 days, she's like, hey, I think you'd be a good fit for our 21-day group. Would you like to be in that?
Yeah, I really like that too. A little 5-day freemium.
But then I just have to get together my 5-day freemium.
Right. Yeah, right. I do kind of like a 10, like my top 10. Like I have my Google spreadsheet. I have like my top 10 people that I would like want most to do a 21-day challenge with me, because they're probably the people that I think would make like the best coaches. Because I look for people's social media like people that post positive stuff and have a lot of, and seem to have a lot of people that want to surround themselves with this particular person. So if I see people on social media like that, I try to interact with them. And if the interaction's going well, I'll add them to my top 10 list. And then I don't really push the 21-day challenge too much. I just we go back and forth liking and commenting on each other's posts for a while, because I have my top 10. So it's only 10 people I have to really pay attention to, like, and comment and like their posts every other day probably. And then I have my list of people that aren't really in the top 10 that I kind of maybe interact with and just check in with once a week or once every month or so. But that top 10 really gets me honed in and focused on the top 10 people that I really want to get in my 21-day challenge. And then I can really focus on kind of going back and forth, liking and commenting on each other's posts. And then I'll drop something like, hey, so when are we going to do a 21-day challenge together, after we had been like kind of liking and commenting back and forth for a little while. If someone's like, they're not interested at all, then they come off my top 10. I'll introduce them to my free group, and I'll put them like in my side list of people that are kind of like just outside of my top 10. And I'll just interact with them more on like a weekly or monthly basis.
I like that idea. Top 10 list is good.
Do you use an interest group for that, Pat, or do you just remember their names?
No, I just have their names. They're the 10 people. And usually it's like 5. It's like my top 5 kind of. But I have a top 10, and the top 5 I'm going and looking at their stuff probably once a day. The other 5 more like once every other day, but those are my 10 people that I would love to like really obviously give them a great 21-day challenge experience, but long term I'd love to like work with them as a coach, because I think they're like really cool people.
So are those 5 or 10 people constantly changing?
Yeah, like when they actually do a 21-day challenge with me, then they come off the list, because now they're in my group, and I'm, obviously going to be working with them like really closely and giving them a great experience. And then someone else comes into my top 10 that hasn't done a 21-day challenge or hasn't committed yet. If someone like just for whatever has no interest in a 21-day challenge and the conversation just kind of went like weird or stale or something, then I'll pull them out and put someone else in the top 10. So yeah, I mean, it changes from time to time. Just depends on what's going on. It depends on if like I got someone that all of a sudden I connected with on Instagram like yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, like this person would be so much fun to work with. Like I got to get them in the top 10, then I'll put them in there. And sometimes it's top 9 or top 11, but I try to keep it around 10. Mm-hmm. So, cause I'm not the most organized. Like I can get like all over the place. And sometimes I used to be a lot better at keeping track of my inbox and making sure like every conversation I had going, I was always talking to them at least every 2 days with the follow-ups and stuff. But that once you get bigger and bigger and bigger, it gets harder to keep up with your inbox sometimes. So I like having that list of 10 people that are always like right there, my top 10, that I would love to be, have them as like,
and you're constantly connecting with those top 10. It's not just like prospects that are there talking to them.
It's not what?
It's not just prospects for you're actually like working with them and building relationships with those top 10.
Yeah. Like, because some of the people that like I think would make the best coaches are people that I have to spend the most time like connecting with and getting to know them. Because the people that I want as coaches aren't like people that are looking for me. Like I'm not really looking for coaches I'm not looking for people necessarily that like their life's a mess and they're terrible at their job and they're about to get fired and they need coaching. Like I'm looking for people that don't really need me. They're killing it at their job. They're doing really well at their job. They just have never seen this opportunity before. So for those type of people, you got to spend a little bit more time getting to know them, because they don't really need you, so you got to connect with them and spend more time with them. So having that top 10 list helps me do that.
Cool.
Quality over quantity.
Can I share some things that have been getting me like a ton of challenge packs?
Yeah.
If anybody wants to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if this works. I know Annie uses this a lot, and I think the April from last night mentioned. But I've been getting a ton of awesome challengers from local, like garage sale groups and like buy and sell groups, like ridiculous. Like I'll post a before and after picture and just say something not gimmicky, but like very, pretty blunt, like just, 3 weeks of proper nutrition and proper training, like, my next boot camp starts in 2 weeks, hit me up or something. And I get like tons of comments, and I'll get at least 1 or 2 challenge pack sales like right away within the next like half an hour of that conversation, and then multiple others. And then, so buy and sell groups, garage sale groups, and then like local mom groups for me anyways, or local, whatever you're into groups. I've been getting a ton of really quality like challengers because I feel like they trust you more if you're from the area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not just some person from some random area of the world. And another thing that works really well for me is creating an event and advertising it and promoting it. Like I've gotten at least 5 or more over the past couple months. Really good quality challengers.
Will you give an example of like an event you'd post?
Well, I would tell you to go to one, but I'm in Facebook jail, so none of my events are showing. But like I'll just create an event, like my event, I always call them clean eating boot camps. That's what I always call them because that's what they are. And they're 21-day fix. The one coming up on the 24th that I'm doing is called Eat Clean, Dance Dirty, and it's a combination of size and 21-day fix. And I promoted it and I advertised it, and I got like tons of people. I don't even know how many that I don't even know, just random people that I'm not even connected with, because it was advertised and I boosted the post too at one point. But I spent like, I don't know, $10 total, and I got multiple dozens and dozens of people. So that works really good. And then if you keep it public, obviously you want it to be public so anybody can join. I have people that are like mutual friends with like people I know that are like, oh, just randomly messaging me like, what's your boot camp all about? Like so events work really well too.
Wait, so T, in the yard sales, you actually post about your group?
Yeah, because that's what it's for. It's for selling things. So in some groups, you'll get in trouble for posting stuff like that. So you got to be careful. But in the buy and sell stuff, you can, because that's what it's for. You can post all day long about whatever you want if you're selling stuff. So I
do like Small Business Friday or whatever, and you can post. But then
or that too. But I post like in like my mom group, I only post like a couple times a month about a challenge because I don't want people to like be annoyed with me and kick me out. But the garage sale group, like if I'm like hurting for successful points or anything, like I will post the crap like every day because that's what it's for. I mean, people do it. I mean, they do it for their entertainment stand, like, oh, selling $50 the next day. Oh, need to go $40. Like, so I'm doing it. So I post a really good before and after picture, 3 weeks. I have a really good one. And I just tell them, like, I'm just pretty like blunt about it. I'm not gimmicky. I don't tell them it's the 21-day fix. I just say like, these were my results in 3 weeks from good clean eating and proper training. If you want me to teach you how, PM me or comment below. And I always get a ton of girls that want to do it. Very, genuinely interested, motivated, local girls, because they're, it's a garage sale or a buy and sell, whatever. So they're local to the area. So, and I feel like they trust you more because they know like, oh, she's from Syracuse, she's only 10 minutes away from me. So I'm not like, 3,000 miles away.
That's cool.
So it works really well.
Can you like share like an example of what you've posted that's like worked for you in like a garage sale group? Like, can you share that?
Yes. I just posted one, like I said last night, and I got like 10 girls.
Maybe that's why you don't have Facebook.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think it was a vindictive act by somebody. I really do, because I've done that 1,000 times and I've never had a problem. So I don't know why yesterday was any different. It's not like I do the same thing every time I post in those groups, but it works really, really. And I do. Once I regain access to my Facebook, I will post what I posted in the buy and sell in like the coach groups. It was really simple. It was like a 2-liner. It was just very simple. And
You could text it to one of us and we can post it.
huh?
You can text it to one of us and we can post it.
Oh yeah, I probably could do that too.
If you want to send it to me, I'll post it like I did with your group.
Yeah.
And can somebody post it in our group too?
Yeah, I'll send it out. It was
Yeah, send it to me and I'll just post it everywhere.
Okay.
okay. I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeet. All right. I think that's a long enough call. So I'm sure like some of you, how many of you have like gotten like on an escalator but got brought back down in this business? All of you. At some point, right? Probably a lot, probably most of you more than once. So who's going to get on the escalator this time and you don't really care about the results. You're just going to do it. You're going to plant seeds, and the first year of the business is just planting seeds. You just got to think of it like that. The second year is when you harvest the crops. So, but you got to get there. You got to get to that second year. Otherwise, you'll never be able to harvest the crops. You'll never get to see the results in the business. So, time to get on that escalator. I'll see you guys at the top.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you.
Bye.